Hey, I'm your host, Wes.
And I'm your host, Scott.
Come on in and grab a seat.
Because you're hanging with us at the Barbershop. And Feldman and...
well, you can only... What,
to only talk to one of them.
Corey Haim, he's not with us anymore.
No.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, he was a terrible man. But...
yeah, well, so Corey Feldman is actually is a defender, I think. He talks about how they were friends.
Oh, that they
yeah.
See, it's hard to follow.
Do you remember the thing? There's I know he's really eclectic. Yes, eccentric. And right. He did that. He does that thing where he's got like a band or a musical act where the dancers are all like young women that he's sort of rescued off the streets.
And who's this?
Corey Feldman.
Oh, he sings too. He does everything.
Yeah, but there's a thing that goes back to an early, might have been when Michael was doing early Pepsi ads, and I think that Corey Feldman might actually be one of the kids in the Pepsi commercial.
I'm sure he started young.
Somebody out there in the viewership, in the listenership, can correct me on that if I'm wrong, but I think that's the relationship there. Anyway, he's been a staunch supporter of Michael Jackson for
there you go.
many years. Yeah. What's up, everybody? It's Wes here, back with another episode of Hanging at the Barbershop, and
hey. I'm Scott. Tagging along. How's it going?
Good. Now that we've had our little pre-show chat, because I was stressing like a mother.
Man, never ever do I do. This is like work. And everyone's like so wrapped up with policy, procedure, and COVID, and what are we gonna do with it? And I'm like, just, you know what? If the money's coming into the drawers and everyone's happy and no one's complaining, things are fine, and you don't need to be stressed.
You know, it's a good thing you say that, because I should remember that. It was advice given to me when I was a much younger medical technician, and I was on my first real independent.
Are they breathing? Yeah.
My first real independent duty.
Are they talking? Yeah.
Okay, it wasn't critical.
You're doing a good job.
No, it was I got sent from my parent unit, which the field ambulance in Petawawa. I got sent to another unit on the base, which had a very small aid station. So I got sent to a helicopter squadron.
Yes, I've heard this story.
So that meant that me as a corporal, and I had a private working for me, the two of us, so we were responsible for the couple hundred people that worked there. And I can remember thinking, man, nobody's called to check up on me. And I can remember one of the sergeants it was a mass corporal at the time. It was a sergeant. I don't know what he is now. It could be captain. I don't know. Ron. Shout out to Ron. Ron tells me, he's like, hey man, if nobody's calling, you're doing a good job.
Right. Right. I think that is exactly it. And that's that we were talking. And I truly want you now. This to me is so, I want this to be casual. I don't want it to seem like off the cuff irrelevant. But I think every time we sit down, as much as we've had episodes that we've talked about a lot, I think it's somewhat been on topic, or we start on topic and then veer off with other stories. And to me, if a story veers off and can come back in some strange way, because we were going to go to Port Perry the other day, and I was ready to go to Port Hope, and you're like, why are we going this way? And I'm like, why are you ruining
I couldn't figure that out. Now I get it. Port Hope.
Totally. I was going to go to Port Hope, and I'd be like, oh shit,
going to get some gas at the reserve on the way. I'm like, where are you going?
Yeah. And it's like, I told that story to somebody at work, and they're like, you're lucky you had him. I'm like, because I told him where we were going on our road trip, and he pulled the reins in and got me going in the right direction.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
Well, that talks a lot about my navigational skills, right? And
it's okay. The GPS is not infallible. I mean, I'm a firm believer in check the map before you leave, set your GPS in the driveway, and then turn off all the stupid bells and whistles like toll roads and all that crap. Yeah. Then you should be, fingers crossed, you should be okay.
We've gotten to some weird spots. No, not since like
Missouri.
We've started a little bit. And I mean, not since I've started using my phone more. Like when we had standalone GPSs.
Did you update the software?
Never.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
And we got to like boat launches.
Yeah.
And it's like drive straight. And you're like,
The last standalone GPS that I owned, no, it wouldn't be the last one. The first one I ever bought, it was an older Garmin, I think it was.
Sure.
Looked like a little tube TV. And I did not update the maps. And I remember driving from Ontario to Nova Scotia, but the new Trans-Canada Highway had already been built. But the map software still reflected the old one. So according to the GPS, I drove through several hundred kilometers of field.
Right. And telling you to get back on the route.
Yeah. And
Return
I'm
to
like,
the
right,
route.
don't even, there's no road here. There's just green.
To me, once you're on the highway, you're good. And then like, right, getting started.
Yeah.
And then on your turn off when you're getting close. And then when you're like, sure as shit, you don't know where you're going, just to get you to the final destination. But like I said, if I was going to Windsor,
yeah,
right, I'm okay. I can get to the 401.
Sure. I could probably get to Windsor without a GPS.
Yeah, exactly.
I think for most of like the big stuff.
But it's like, okay, now I need to get off the highway, and I need it to. And sometimes I like that preemptive. Hey, your turn is in 100 meters.
No, exactly. I mean, if you've got enough, let's see, where is it? Can we get that? Yeah.
Oh.
If you've got enough data on your phone, I mean, there is really no other than maybe you want a bigger screen. Hey, use a tablet.
Yeah.
There's really, I don't see a reason to have to want to buy a GPS anymore.
I mean, any new car, your phone syncs to it and puts it up on the bigger screen.
Yeah, and I mean, Google Maps is, let's be real, it's more up to date. Like, when's the last time you looked at MapQuest? Does MapQuest still exist?
I don't know.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So, anywho,
yeah.
Hey, bud.
Hey, man.
Happy anniversary.
Oh, my God. And to you, sir.
So that popped up the other day on the good old Facebook.
So that means 52 weeks ago, roughly, actually be a little more than 52 weeks. Let's just round it out and say, I don't know, 60 weeks ago, we were guests on another show.
Somebody else's podcast.
In another town.
You got her. And we sat in the car.
Yep.
And went, I really enjoyed that.
Yep.
Do you want to do this?
Yep.
And you're like, I'm all in.
Yeah, 110%.
Yeah. And I giggled too, because then I kind of went back and going through Facebook, and I'm like, we started recording.
Yeah.
And you started taking pictures. And you
makes it real.
Talks about stressed out. So we're recording. No plans to post episodes for like we're banking episodes. We want to be 5 deep, 6 deep.
Yeah.
And Wes starts posting. We've got a webpage. We've got a Facebook.
Hey man, I was excited.
And it's like all of a sudden we have these pictures of us talking in the dark with sexy lights in the background. And it's like, hey, we're doing this. And everyone's like, oh, when can we start listening? And I'm like, not for weeks,
not for
months. Yeah. So I think September 25th
we published.
Yeah. And then the first episode didn't go up until October.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I'm just, do you have it there? Because I'm just pulling up here on my phone. Episode 1, October 20th, 2020. Yeah. And we published 3 of them that day.
Right. That was like, we couldn't wait any longer, and they just had to come.
Well, we had put in quite a significant amount of work prior to that.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So that was definitely something we were working on.
Lumps and bumps along the way. Let me tell you, I don't know if we talked about this in the getting going in the startup phase. Now we're a year into this now. I still consider this very much a startup.
Yeah.
We ordered, and no fault to anybody's, but I mean, when you're starting out and you're ambitious and you just want to get your feet in it. You want to do it fast. And so we went to the fastest place around. We went to Amazon and ordered a bunch of gear.
Thank you, Jeff Bezos.
And then, in my infinite wisdom, I'd ordered the wrong mixer. And so the mixer had to go back.
I can't even remember what was wrong with it.
It wasn't a USB mixer.
It
was an analog mixer.
But right. And you, very on brand for you. You were like heartbroken. You were like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, man.
Yeah.
Just means we're going to be doing this in a week, and we can look at everything else.
Sent that one back, ordered the new one. It showed up in relative, haste. completely completely open too. The box wasn't even in a shipping box. It was literally the
It's so
box.
weird because
no tape, no nothing.
We just did what did we just get from Amazon? I ordered the dryer hose cleaner from the outside that you put on the drill.
Yeah.
I ordered all those cool brushes that go on the drill.
Yep.
And something else. I ordered 3 things.
Generic packaging, no packaging.
Amazon boxes.
Okay.
And then everything else was inside of that.
Yeah.
Man, I wish I could remember what the third thing was. Mustn't have been. Oh, the fucking button maker.
Oh, nice. Like a button maker.
Oh, let me tell you. Yeah. So we're gonna start branding buttons for all the podcasts.
Sweet. You could rent that thing out, man.
So if you want buttons in 1-inch size, you just reach out to my wife with some art, and we can make you buttons. So just in passing was our first day of reconciliation, September 30th.
That's right. Yeah.
And let me tell you, I'm so glad because it speaks volumes that people bought into it as a
Yeah.
I don't want to use the word holiday because it really isn't a holiday. It's a day of sober thought and things.
And
yeah.
questioning.
Yes, exactly. So, corporately, Michelle and I both work for bigger companies, and orange shirts. The biggest supplier in Canada was sold out of orange shirts.
Go figure. That wasn't you, was it?
Well, Gildan.
Oh yeah, Gildan. Okay,
Which right, pretty big supplier.
I'm thinking retailer. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know why I went.
And couldn't really find consistency in our selection of orange shirts and stuff. And then Michelle's work had a nice listing of, they're trying to supply indigenous-based business and suppliers.
Yeah.
To go and get your swag or your buttons or whatever. And they were sold out, or the time frames we started too late.
Yeah.
So Michelle's like, let's get a button maker.
A button maker.
So we got a button maker, and she went to a couple websites and downloaded approved art and printed it off, and she made a fistful of buttons.
Oh, that's
so
cool.
They look good.
Yeah.
So that was my Amazon treat. So that, again, they got everything.
They do have everything, and you'd be surprised what you can buy on there. Surprisingly large items.
Well, right, you can buy furniture. You can buy There's nothing there. Like, I wouldn't be surprised eventually if you could buy a car.
No, certainly probably get car parts anyway.
Yeah. Yes, you can. For sure, you can.
So I mean, to wrap up the Amazon thing, we basically did a 4 1 2 3 and 4 microphone setup sort of all in one shot, thinking that at some point we're going to have guests and we want to be able to handle that right out the box. And to date, I think we used all 4 microphones at one time.
When the girls have been here,
3-4 times maybe in a year.
Well, I'll let you know as we go back. So today I think we're just going to do some quick reviews and maybe talk about some episodes and what made us smile. So episode 1, join Wes and Scott on the inaugural episode of the Barbershops, where they discuss topics ranging from beard life to bromance.
Beard life, when you actually had one.
Yeah, I actually shaved my mustache off today, and I'm like,
I thought something looked different.
Yeah, but it's right. That was when I was taking medical leave. So
the struggle is real. I still absolutely love it. In fact, I mean, I love it. It's part of our branding. I mean, for those of you looking at our, I guess it's right
there.
There it is. Yeah, it's an integral part of my identity, I would say.
Sure. Yeah.
And every time I think of it, and I get asked quite frequently, my wife is being in the hair business, do you feel like taking it off? And my answer is always yes, but no.
I found this week I was chewing. My mustache had gotten like past my lip, and I was getting to that point where I was chewing on it.
You can stick your tongue out and pull it in,
and then I was like twisting it, and I was yanking them out, and then like flicking them.
Ow! I can't stop! Ow!
And it's like, I'll just shave it off, and it probably would get into the point where it was starting to get more goop in it than you do. Well with your mustache.
I really try.
You keep it trimmed nicely.
I try to, but again, as I say, shout out to my wife, Kimberly, who's been a guest on the show, who is in the hair business, and she's very good about like, come on, let's go, let's trim your mustache. Oh, okay.
Which I'm sure benefits her.
Yeah.
Keep the ticklers.
There is nothing like going to kiss your wife and having to do this before. Just wait a second, honey.
Yeah.
Okay, come here. Just so she doesn't get a mouthful.
You can reach in there. Oh, wow. But yeah, so like episode 1, we recorded and we talked about everything and thought it was the most eclectic episode, and that has become on brand.
Been consistent, for the last year, really.
Yeah. We've dove in, and even the ones we've had guests have still been kind of all over, because you know what, every guest has their own take on a lot of questions. And we do ask a lot of the same questions and see where they go with it, right?
Yeah.
So any other comments on episode 1?
It was so long ago.
Let's not dive in.
That's what I mean.
We got 20 episodes to talk about. So right. We were under sexy lights.
I actually went back and I listened to the first 4 minutes of the first episode today, because I wanted to sort of like, just curiosity. I wanted to listen to the audio quality of episode 1 versus episode 20. And marginal differences. Right. I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't believe it. I mean, I skipped up to episode, I think 14. 14, I think, is when you had gotten your new microphone. And it's like bouncing back and forth. It's like there is a tonal difference, but overall
we've sounded good right from episode 1.
Shout out to producer Andy.
Thank you. Okay, so episode 2, I think we found our feet and got into something that we really knew a lot about.
Drinking.
Join Wes and Scott as they sample a variety of adult beverages and discuss the finer points of their favorite brews.
Wait, do I have it as an overlay? I don't even know if I have. I do. There it is.
So that was
Cold Ones was born.
Yeah, man. Which I think has been good content. Again, it was very off the cuff. We grabbed your beer box.
We did, which I still have a smattering of at the house from that box, because I think the winner from that one is still in there.
I believe so.
Yeah,
because we gotta hang on to it just in case we need to drink it again. And we had them all mixed up. We drank darkest to lightest, and
no idea what we were doing in terms of the actual
ABV
tasting.
Was all over the place.
From like 4 to 7.
But right as you dive in and you say, when you're sampling them, it's nice to start with the lowest alcohol level and work to the strongest, and flavor profiles and things like that. But we've also said every time is, I like this. If we had drank it first, would it have, because we never clean our palates.
No.
Would this have had more of a response if it hadn't been the last one? If it hadn't been, we've been talking for an hour, and now it's a little bit, pardon me, a little bit warmer, a little bit flatter, a little bit, right? All these little things we talk about.
That is the big mystery too, though, isn't it?
Right?
I laugh because jump ahead. Now we've done cold ones
5 times.
5 times.
We're gonna have, to me, we've got to replace, there's nothing wrong with seltzer, and there's not going to be anything wrong when we do cider, but I don't think we bring them to the championship round.
No, it should just be beers.
Right. There's no, you can't compare. It's apples to pears. It's not a fair comparison from the beer point of view to the seltzer or the, if we squeeze in ciders one day.
I still laugh though, like at no matter how hard we try to sound all like witty and intelligent, we still come out with stuff like, I like it. And sometimes it never goes further than that.
No, I like it.
No, I don't.
I don't know why I don't like it. I put it in my mouth and I go, ooh. Or it's like, right. And there's beers I don't like on the first sip. Guaranteed. And if once we started recording, I mean, there's beers I drink just on on brand just to have a sip.
Yeah.
And you'll see that first 1 or 2 sips and it'll be like, and then 3, it's like, oh, it's all good.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, it just took you a little while to warm up to it, right? But that's that's just it. And I think too, there's tons of guys talking sophisticated beer, using sophisticated words.
We're not those guys.
No, and you know, I talked about
but hey, we're trying.
But you know what? I don't know if everybody wants I can't even say sophisticated.
I know they know what you're trying to say.
Yeah, not everybody wants
a sophisticated that.
Doesn't want an opinion on value. It's like, well, I just want to listen to an ordinary guy talk about a beer. And that's what you're getting with me. So yeah, for sure. If you want to hear about hints of strawberry, and keep scrolling. So episode 3, do you remember what it was?
Was it the wives?
It was the wives.
Our
one of our most popular episodes.
I think it's our most watched on YouTube.
No.
Is it not the most?
It is not, because once we started posting video
overtook.
And then as we've had guests that have bigger social media profiles,
gotcha.
They have certainly drew
reciprocal.
Right. So join the guys as they play host to their significant others and get to know them on a whole new level.
Oh man, do you remember any of the
questions?
Yeah.
Right. You're not allowed to ever eat pie with us.
I'm not allowed to eat pie.
No, because you like cake. Or is it vice versa?
I don't know. I like them both, to be honest.
Yeah. No, because I asked pie or cake, and all of us were pie,
and I said cake,
and you were cake, and you're like,
yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
I'll bring my own damn cake.
Yeah. So that was that. And then some of the other questions, we talked about laundry, we talked about chores. I can't remember them all.
Oh,
but there's some good ones. I thought we'll have to do that again, because you can always find those fun.
You think we were publishing in October? We recorded that in September, so a year later.
Yeah.
If we were to repeat that episode and ask the same questions, we get the same answers.
I think so, because I think we talked about ice cream or what do you call them with just the ice?
Snow cone
or ice cream cone.
Yeah.
I think everybody took ice cream cone.
Yeah, I would have picked ice cream over slushy for sure.
Yeah. I don't know. Did we talk about if you were a ship, what would you be?
I don't know.
Would
is
you
that the episode where if you could replace your head with an animal head, what would it be?
Maybe. Yeah, a beaver. I don't know. We've had these discussions, and then maybe we never asked the questions.
There is that. Every time we have an idea like, oh, this would be good content, then we never write it down.
So Wes, if you were a ship, what would you're the is it SS? The
SS would be sailing ship.
So, yeah, so you'd be the SS what?
Wow. Okay. Wow. SS. God, you really got me on this.
I know.
Do you have an answer?
I don't know. I would maybe do like the SS footage.
The SS footage.
The SS. No, that's new. That's new. But the SS shipwreck. The SS unsinkable. Something fun like that. I'd like to play it.
You couldn't be like the SS RNC.
No.
Rum and what?
Yeah.
That's much later.
That's later. I got a funny story that will tie into that too. So episode 4, our first real guest.
Oh, Harmony.
So join Wes and Scott as they welcome special guest Harmony Reinhardt in the studio to chat about jobs, life, and COVID.
Yeah, her budding
photography. She is certainly, if you go out and look up her Reinhardt photography page, She has got a ton of new photos and photo shoots and family photo shoots. So she's been busy on the other side of lockdown and procedures and getting lots done, looking good. She also has an interesting COVID story. She ran into the pregnancy.
How do you run into that?
Well,
you can't just run into it.
When a boy loves a girl and they're in a consensual relationship, Wesley,
I'm sorry, you don't.
These things happen.
Okay.
So, but yes. So, congratulations. I don't know poor Harmony's man's name, but congratulations to you.
Oh, wait. Not only did they run into the pregnancy thing, they ran into the birthing thing.
I don't think that's them.
Oh, wait. That's somebody else?
That is, because she takes photos of
okay. So this
families.
is a client. Okay.
That's a client.
Is she going to do her own photography?
Could you imagine with the little clicker in her hand?
Oh, boy.
I don't think, yeah.
All right. So for those of you looking for a photographer in the local area, and I'm not sure what her service area is.
She's willing to travel.
She will travel. But certainly if you're Peterborough, Northumberland, Kawartha Lakes,
yep,
check her out. There we are. What did we do after that?
There, we didn't talk about that long enough.
We didn't?
No, because then I didn't have the next one.
You didn't have the next one to go. Oh, okay.
So, so another guest was on after the week after. Welcome special guest Dave Bolan.
Oh boy,
man, we talked about
lots of energy.
Yeah,
tons of energy.
I am super excited. He will be making an appearance on Scotty Doesn't Know.
Closing wine.
Yeah, I asked him if he had any to bring this time. I did not get a response.
No.
But yeah, we talked about CRISPR technology. We talked about closet wine and so much more. Talked about his use of a storage unit.
Talked about him pilfering the Wi-Fi at Tim Hortons.
Oh, huge. King Dave. But yeah. And
you all do it.
He was a great guest and had something to talk about, was high energy. I think his, and to me, it was contagious because I feel like he was up talking and I feel like I was up talking and
I was watching the board going, oh my God, I got to turn these guys down.
But yeah.
I feel if we were to repeat that now, knowing what we do now, I think we'd have had a better result. There would have been less on Andy to edit in terms of trying to shrink things down.
Be interesting.
Technical stuff.
Yeah. And as I say too, is it'd be interesting to see now in the way we run the board too.
Yes.
If you get a lot less of those peaks and valleys in conversation.
Yeah, I mean, just visually as I'm looking at it right now, I can tell you that we are far better off than we were a year ago. Because I can tell you that I ran these a lot hotter. Maybe I should have.
Right. So episode 6, we welcome Mark Devoe from Devoe FX.
Mark. Mark's been busy lately.
He has.
He's been doing some other stuff too. I want to show you.
So
guys
now correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Devoe FX is no longer, but he's still doing so much.
I think as a hobbyist, as somebody who's still in the space, I don't think he'll ever get rid of that.
Right.
You'll never see him get away from that, especially his FX for veterans that he's been working on, which he super. Oh, what am I doing here?
You're looking for R2D2.
I am. And they totally. That's probably why I did it the wrong way. Where is it?
So it's in his personal page that he's been posting it.
That's what I thought.
And he started, gosh, I don't even know how many days he put into it.
I don't know if he started with a 3D print or a kit that he got from somebody, but man, like
it's funny that it's not there
showing up here.
But he's made a full size.
Is that a Lucasfilm thing? Did they get their knickers in a knot with them or something?
I don't know. He made a full size R2D2.
Yeah. And he put the lights in it.
Yeah.
So I don't know if any of the animatronics are in it. If it's radio control.
I believe the head turns.
Oh.
So he's gone full. It's a great model.
You all know what R2D2 looks like, so you can rest assured it looks a lot like that. Also, did you see? I also saw another thing. He still must be doing something with the Batman thing that he was talking about, because I saw a test the other day for a very large
Wing set.
animatronic set of wings.
Yep, I did see that.
Yeah. It looked like it sounded like they were hydraulic anyway. Hydraulic or electric? I'm not sure.
It's funny. I don't scroll Facebook with volume on, so some of that stuff I miss.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just right. It's all just visual.
Yeah. I typically make a point to turn the sound on and listen to it, because there could be like commentary or whatever. You know, kind of like us. There might be some commentary.
Yeah, exactly. Episode 7. We make some FaceTime calls and check in during COVID and talk about stupid headlines.
We called Sean on that one?
Called Sean, and we called Eric.
Did we call Eric?
I feel like we called Eric.
We should call him again just because it's 1 year anniversary.
Sure, call Eric.
Let's call Eric. Let's call him right now.
And so yeah, we talked about Sean. He wasn't doing a whole lot. He was supposed to have something on the go, but hadn't.
So curiously enough, I've attempted sort of like suss out what he's doing.
Right.
But, dude just won't. He won't budge on that one.
He won't spill the beans.
No. Let's see what's going on in the world of Eric. This could be all for nothing. And of course, it's a Facebook call, so I can't even leave a message with him.
No.
Right?
Hey, man, what's up?
Happy Sunday. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. What can I do for you?
Well, I just want to let you know that you're live with Scott and I on Hang at the Barbershop. It's our 1 year anniversary special, and we're just taking a look back through our episode list, and we just came to the episode where, hey, we did some FaceTime calls, and you were one of them, and we thought we'd do a repeat and call you up, see how you're doing.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Hey, Eric.
I'm doing pretty well. Hey, how's it going, bud?
Good, man.
So what's going on
I
in the
don't
world?
have COVID this time.
No COVID
Nice.
this time. So you actually sound like $1 million. So you are not on your deathbed this time.
No. I'm doing much better now. I
Wicked.
had a whole summer of work, and
Yeah. I was going to say, are you still? Do you still have an army job?
part-time only for now.
Okay, that's fair.
I'm taking a wee bit of a break,
Yes.
but I'm putting in my papers, and I'm getting a new career. So,
Oh,
Yeah.
Is this something that I need to talk to you about later?
I mean, if you want to, but
I absolutely do. I always like to know what's going on in your life.
life's going pretty good.
Cool, man.
We're pretty happy. The house is cleaner than it's been. The kids back in school. The wife finishing her break from work, and
Excellent.
we're all in a better place, like emotionally. So,
Oh, that's great. That's good to hear.
That is excellent. Always nice, right? You want to move, right? Keep moving forward and all that jazz.
yeah, onwards and upwards.
Eric, I'm going to put you on the spot here for a second. Sir, if you had to lose one finger from your right hand, which one would it be and why?
Ring finger.
Really?
Yeah, I use my little finger for a lot of things that I'm probably shouldn't talk about on live.
Listen, I mean, if you're talking about, I was going to say picking your nose, but I mean, it could be your Coke finger. I don't know.
Jeepers. I don't know.
All right, that's a little far even for me. But
Yeah.
less uses for a ring finger.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair.
Got your. You need your middle fingers for mice, and
Right.
but the ring finger is just, you can't even use it on its own. Everything else moves.
No.
Try to use it.
All right, fair enough. Well, I'm not going to keep you very long. We just thought it'd be nice to touch base with you and say hello and just welcome you back to the show and let you know that you were an important part of the show in the early days, and just thanks for being a fan of the show for all of our shows. And we're going to talk again soon. So
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. Well, if I don't talk to you before then, have a good Thanksgiving.
we will. All right.
And I'm going to try and get out there sometime.
Oh, wicked.
Quarter.
We'd love to see you again. Unfortunately, I don't have a bed for you anymore because that room is now an office.
Yeah, I saw that. I was going to message you. You selling my bed?
Gone.
Already gone, sir. Already gone. All right.
Nah, it's all good. I'll bring a cot.
Yeah, cool, man. All right. We'll
Take
talk
it
to you again
easy,
soon.
guys.
Thanks, Eric.
Bye, Eric.
Bye.
Bye.
Always a pleasure to talk to him. Good when he sounds like he's really up right now.
He's an eclectic guy, right?
Big time.
Yeah. But so we did a lot of chatting, and we did do a lot of.
If I thought I could get something out of Sean, I'd call him up too.
Well, it's not going to happen. See if
he's not going to talk.
See if
he's not going to talk. Is he even going to score? What you think he would? Oh,
throw him a message first. But yeah, and then we did some stupid headlines like deaths in armed robberies. 80% because of firearms. But yeah, just foolish thing. Oh, you were giving him a call. You're not even.
You know what? I'm not even waiting. I mean, he's either going to answer or he's not. We're gonna put the light of fire under him. Of course, he's not going to answer. Or do something really crazy, and he'll answer like from work.
Right.
Does that rank up there with the most annoying sound in the world?
It's up there.
It really is.
I don't think he's answering.
I don't think so either.
Oh, well.
All right. You're artificially busy again, I'm sure. If you're listening to this, you suck.
Yeah. He does a lot. I mean,
you don't really suck. I'm just saying that because you didn't answer my phone call.
He hustles a lot. He does a lot. He's got a lot of things on the go, and he likes to do a lot of things. So
I think leaving the university was probably a good thing for him. It's talk about lighting fires has maybe lit a fire under him to get back into more like other creative venues.
Right.
Yeah. There was some film work, I think, there for a while.
Oh, cool.
There may still be, actually.
Right. So episode 8, join Wes and Scott as they review the year such as it was with local headlines, celebrity news, an odd, strange story, and an effort to put 2020 to rest and ring in the new year.
That was a super fun episode. I really enjoyed that one when we did weird headlines.
Well, this was because we basically went back, looked at the year in full, and we all picked like a funny headline or an important headline. Andy joined us.
Yeah.
I don't think Kim joined us.
Did we get a weird one for 2021?
Yeah.
How about, let's see.
And some of us had one and some of us had multiple ones. It was a little bit of a drawn out episode, but we got through it.
It was funny.
It was. And ready just to be like, and Andy had some zingers.
Yeah, wow. It's Andy. I expected nothing less from Andy.
Yeah,
he would like dig deep on like the really weird stuff. Weird headlines. Yeah. I really enjoyed that. And then we got the daily calendar, and I don't think we've used it since. Right, because it had like those history facts.
Well, right. To me, the episodes have flowed that we haven't had the need to go back to silly questions or this day in history. And do you remember the first one you picked, this day in history, and you picked the wrong day? And you're like, oh shit, I don't even have the right day. Yeah, that was a very interesting story. So episode 9.
When do we? Okay, wait. Which one? Is
8 was the year in review.
Yeah,
which we also did sort of the same thing for Fandom Power. And we did the Christmas episode for Fandom, and the 4 of us. So you, Kim, Andy, and myself. And we did
with our Christmas hats on. Yes.
And we talked about movies, music, television, and what our favorite seasonal things was. That was fun. I enjoyed that.
I watched again for the gazillionth time today. I watched Top Gun. And I was
hoping that it would spur Maverick to the theaters.
I was reminded how Maverick has been delayed again.
You know what? It's hilarious. I was watching.
I'm so upset.
Watching the new season of LA's Finest. It's the police drama,
right?
And the guy, I don't even know what the context is. All that caught my attention is he yells at them over his shoulders and be like, "Oh, go see the new Top Gun Maverick at theaters." So I don't know if that was like
they did that intentionally.
Yeah, as a kick that it had got postponed again, or maybe the executive producer on the show does something with the movie. I don't know, but I laughed.
That
Michelle's
actually,
she's like, "What's so funny?" And I'm like, "That movie is not.
It's not. It's been one of the ones that's been more delayed. That and Mission Impossible.
Yeah,
funny, 2 of his movies delayed. That got me thinking today. I want to go back, and I don't know if this is the right venue for it, but I have a show idea where I want to go back in and I want to do a head-to-head. You pick a year, you know, what you think was the best year for movies, and I'm going to pick my best year, 1986.
Right.
And we'll go head to head, and we'll argue why each year was a better year for movies. There's some really good ones in 86, and I can't.
I would tell you, I would pit probably a little farther into the 90s.
Yeah.
As a sci-fi guy.
Yeah.
And quality. And I've seen this on the internet, and I think somebody said that whole window of opportunity, like the Matrix, and like when that yes, okay. And it was a golden year. And I'd have to go back and do the research, but I think that would be, I'd put my year up against your year.
Yeah. 1986, the number one movie, Top Gun.
Were you even old enough to appreciate that he banged her?
I saw it in the theater.
Yeah, but were you old enough to appreciate that he banged her?
In 86, I was I was 12.
This is so sappy. When can we get back to the fighter jets?
I think I understood what was happening, but as a 12-year-old, I was more interested in like the jets,
the fighter jets.
Get back to the jets.
And you're like, oh my gosh. Did you even know that Goose died at the end?
Of course I knew. So here's the one thing. Did you know?
It's vague though.
So in my, I mean,
right, as a 12-year-old, I would have been 11.
Yeah, until you get to the funeral, and then it's like, he really didn't make it.
Oh,
so the Penny Benjamin line, you know, where Stinger, James Tolkien's character on the ship, is giving him, you know, shit about, you know, you got a reckless wild abandon, you know, for, you know, the high speed passes past 2 towers and 1 admiral's daughter, and then Goose looks at him and goes, Penny Benjamin, and of course Maverick's like, well, you know. Today, as I'm looking at like sort of who's who in the zoo, looking at some of the other actors' credentials, I came up with the cast list for Maverick. Penny Benjamin is in the movie.
Nice.
And it's Michelle Connelly.
And she is?
Sorry, Jennifer Connelly. Jennifer Connelly from Labyrinth.
I got you.
Yeah.
No, you know me.
Oh, that's fair. Anyway, enough about Top Gun and Maverick and fuck you, girl.
2023 release date.
2022.
I can't wait. I'm putting 23. I'm going to tell you another fucking full year.
That's okay. There's some other good movies that are coming out between now and December that'll keep me busy. Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, Dune.
Dune looks so good.
It's only half a movie though.
I know. God, I was disappointed with that. I would have sat in.
I'd have sat for a 4-hour movie.
I would have.
Yeah.
But episode 9, girls are back in-house. Do you remember what we had them in for? Driving. That's
always a popular topic.
Do you remember what we did?
Drank.
Yeah, and I played a video of my name is Chelsea,
my Lord.
And I like Teslas.
Autopilot. Tesla Autopilot. Yeah. What you can do on Tesla Autopilot. Wait, I have a message. What is going on here? Sorry, not at home in a weak area. What's up?
Oh, thanks, Sean. See, and there you told me sucked. So anyway, ladies return to the shop for another go around and a talk and stories of driving, secure road laws, and appropriate footwear to wear while driving your vehicle. Oh, footwear, Wes. You know what happened in this episode?
Toe sandals is a real thing. You can fuck off.
Toe sandals, the legendary name drop of Wes's foot gear. Toe sandals.
Well, you know.
Isn't that what all sandals are for, your toes?
They don't have any, but that thing that goes between them?
Yeah, that's a thong. And then what's
that? What's the ones that have what if your thong? What if your sandal has that like literal like loop of leather that the big toe goes
through? That starts to be more like a gladiator sandal.
Isn't that a toe sandal? The toe goes in the sandal, toe sandal.
And then if it doesn't, do you remember what one is that you just put your foot in?
With flip-flops?
Yeah, it's a slide.
See, I don't work in clothing. I wouldn't know.
No. Well, I told you. I was seeing if you maybe remembered what I had told you.
So, as I'm just responding to Sean here and letting him know that he was part of the show last year.
So after episode 9 is the lockdown.
Oh, the lockdown special.
So, right,
This was lockdown 1 or 2? Lockdown 1 or 2 at this point. I don't even remember.
it'd be 2. Because lockdown 1, we were sort of running around and shopping and doing stuff and IKEA runs and
Oh, right, because we could still kind of get out.
yeah,
We could
And-
still go to a restaurant without a
yeah,
without a passport.
right.
Not that I have a passport now. I just have a piece of paper.
Just a piece of paper.
Just a piece of paper.
So we did sort of the hey, sorry, we're not putting content up. And
Yeah.
And
Right.
then
We actually took a break. This is lockdown 1 because we weren't sure what was going to be happening.
Right. And then we posted a little, hey, we're back.
Yeah.
And then right back into recording. So episode 10, the boys are back after lockdown hiatus.
Do you remember? I don't know. Did we ever talk about it on the show publicly afterwards, about in the event of another lockdown?
That we were essential,
that we were
and
working,
we weren't going to stop.
We're not stopping. This is work.
That's right.
For anybody out there who actually has a podcast or has a YouTube channel or is a creator of sorts, you know exactly what I'm talking about when I say that there is a certain amount of work that goes into putting this stuff together, even though it just seems like a couple of dudes sitting around a table, which in a large part it is.
In the States, podcasts have been deemed essential.
Really?
Yep.
I think so.
It's entertainment.
Right. And I mean, Lord knows the world can use as much
Scott and Wes as they can handle.
Quality entertainment. The subjectiveness of that statement.
All right. So this is kind of this went on for a few episodes. So
sure.
The boys are back after lockdown hiatus. You voted and they've taken up the challenge. Wes and Scott talk about the great 2021 lifestyle challenge, how it's affected them, how it's affected their families, and the new meal choices they've discovered. Man, did we mention the ladies are back too?
That was a cold February. It was February, wasn't it?
It was.
By what? A single vote?
Yep.
By a single vote, it was vegetarian for a month. And you know what? It wasn't as difficult a month as I thought it was going to be.
You know what I had for dinner tonight?
Did you have black bean burgers?
I did not. I had tofu stir fry.
Oh, good for you. But you enjoyed the tofu. And I never got to, I didn't get to genuine tofu. I did get to a couple of the meat replacement substitute vegan meat choices, which
I think everything you had in-house was terrible. Everything you got at a restaurant was okay.
And I think because it was made in the same surface as actual meat.
Yeah. Like I said, the best tofu I ever had was fried in bacon fat.
Of course it was.
And same problem tonight. It just wasn't crisp. I just and I couldn't get it there. But
it's like I'm gonna go in for a bacon wrapped meatball. It's a meat lover's popsicle.
So it was funny because my kids definitely, and they're not Facebook kids, but they actually went on and
because you told them to go vote, you heathens.
We discussed that if I was going vegan or vegetarian,
were they coming along for the ride?
They were coming along for the ride, so they both wanted to see me sober for a month. So that's how
really?
Right? Yeah, not that it's a challenge, but whatever.
I'd be curious to know the thought process, because I mean, we talk about interaction on the pages, and it varies wildly.
If we did another survey, I would not put the thumbs up.
No, at all. Don't use the thumbs up at all
as a choice, because evereverody likes.
Too easy.
Yeah. Oh, and you scroll through and you're like, oh, there's Scott and Wes. I like their post.
Yeah, I did it again this month.
Yeah, right.
Where I put a thumb for a thing. I'd be curious to know, like to actually talk to the people who voted. What was the motivation for your choice? Did you want to see us squirm? Like,
right.
What was the intent? You just thought that was the best one, or maybe that was a lifestyle choice that you would have made, or you would have,
Do you remember what Kim's choice was for you? She voted.
Oh, sure. Do you?
I know what Michelle's choice was.
I think Kim probably, don't quote me on this, but I think she might have been one of the vegetarian votes.
Right.
Yeah.
Michelle was no pop.
No, pop.
because I think she knew that's
Oh,
what would
yeah,
hurt
yeah,
me
yeah.
the most.
There's love for you.
Yeah. Be like, let's wash, like, right?
Squirm, you bastard.
Yeah. I like bubbles.
I like bubbles too. I should have brought some more bubbles with me, but
You only brought
I
one
didn't.
bubbles.
I did. I only brought one.
You could finish off my ginger beer.
You know what? I don't know. Is it good by itself?
It's all right. We'll have a sip and see
Is
what
it?
you
I'll
think.
try it by itself. This is a new one.
No, it's the one that I've always had.
right, but I didn't have it mixed. I had
No.
it mixed before, I should say.
So the Krabby's has not been readily available at the liquor store, and I like to mix it with my dark rum to make dark and stormies.
Oh,
They also had alcoholic root beer there. Thought of you.
really?
Yeah.
Same brand?
No,
See, this by itself, I think, is actually not that bad.
it isn't.
It's sweet. Definitely sweet.
It's ginger.
Okay.
Anyway, so episode 11.
Oh, we're halfway there.
Yeah. Battle of the IPAs. So I think this is
Yeah.
really the first one we sat down
Arrange them in
order,
ABV.
and also had kind of a theme
Sure.
where they were all sort of the same. Go back to another round with 4 new beers from 4 more breweries, and there's stories and more along the way.
I just remember that I like the Flying Monkey one the best.
It was good. It was
Yeah.
excellent.
Yep. And I don't think I've ever seen it again. Certainly not. But I haven't gone out of my way to look for it.
What was it? The Zombies Revolt?
I don't remember which one it was.
There's so many.
I just know, like, the last couple times that I've personally bought beer, it's been like 9 o'clock at night and I'm in the grocery store in Feldman.
Yep. No, for sure. But shout out to we had a lot of good beers. Ideally, we've been drinking probably the most consistent one, because again, I getting their beer every month, is Feldman Brewery. And we've yet to like drink the Vienna on
On air.
yeah.
Have we not?
No, not
As part of
not
the.
as yeah.
So that means we got to do a
lager.
a lager,
Lager.
a lager episode.
But Lager Pilsner. Oh, we gotta get rid of those sours, Wes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't stay in my fridge forever.
Winter is creeping in. So
Winter is sour season.
I was thinking, fall apples and
Harvest ales.
maybe.
So episode 12.
Yeah.
Hockey skates, the Stanley Cup,
Oh,
road skis, and
Gimme.
more.
hit me.
You betcha.
Gimme was here.
Randy Heineman. That was a great episode.
Yeah, and we got a lot of traction on that.
We
one, I think,
did.
because of his.
He has his own social
He's a
media
dedicated following.
following. Yeah. 1,000 people
Pushed
that
a
follow
few.
it. Yeah.
Maybe pushed a few our way for that one anyway.
So
helped in the algorithm.
yeah. And I mean, it's funny too. We got right to the end and then started to talk about his time as a police officer. And
we could have been talking about that for an hour.
right. And he's back to the arena now. Again,
Yes.
same thing. He took some time off because of the shutdown.
Yep.
So he's doing a big push to skate repair, skate modification, and equipment repairs.
Yeah.
So certainly if you're out there and you need anything looked at in that way, reach out to Randy at Hemi Hockey. He is at the Lindsay Rec, and I believe his hours are on his Facebook page. 13, West 13. Lucky 13.
Ooh. We didn't skip over that and go right to 14.
No, I love 13. It's been around for a minute. We guess it's time to talk about it. Join Wes and Scott as they delve into the topic of COVID-19.
We tried so hard. We tried so hard to stay away from it.
It was a good episode too. It got
Yeah.
traction, and I don't know because it shows up on people's feeds because it's
it's now October 2021. It's still by and large all COVID, all day, every day. You cannot escape it.
I've stopped listening to the CBC.
Yeah.
And I was a big CBC fan.
Yeah.
And I no longer tune into the news because I'm not interested in that.
All COVID all the time.
Yeah, this current news feed, which hasn't changed in 20 months.
The only thing I get is I once a day I get a notification because I get the CP24. I get the news pushed out that way, and I get just the numbers reported.
Right.
And the thing I find the most interesting over the last, I don't know, several weeks, maybe the last 2 months, is that we've just been floating that 600, 700, 600, 700. It's just floating back and forth. It's
cases
just,
a day.
Yeah. No big spikes, no big drops. It's just kind of there. But yeah. What more is there to say about that?
No, exactly.
Yeah.
To me, it's going to be.
It's here to stay, folks.
It's a topic for a long time.
Yeah.
Interesting enough, the city of Kawartha Lakes came out with their double vaccine policy and what they're doing with their
for city employees.
Okay. So by default, I got that.
Oh, that's right.
I'm on the fire
you
department.
are a firefighter. Yes.
Yes. So, yep. And it's very on brand for what they're doing, and not to go into it or whatever. And
I'm sure it's proactive where public health is primary.
And there'll be people, as I said, I was always very surprised in what I do with the fire department, that the guys that committed to being vaccinated and the guys that were sort of a little bit on the fence, and us being in healthcare. So
I find it baffling that, educated people in the nursing profession are not, it baffles me. It's, not that it's not the choice aspect, but the
size of that spider, or is it a bug?
That is absolutely a spider, and Kim would be freaking out. Right?
Are you gonna squish it?
No, I'm not gonna squish it against the wall. I got nothing to wipe it up with.
Okay, I'm just gonna keep staring at it.
All right.
I'll let you know when it's gonna crawl into your ear.
Yeah, I mean, very quickly, the level of science denial in the community in general is just mind-bogglingly.
I have a Facebook page and I have an opinion.
Yeah. What people forget is that not all opinions are equal.
No.
Yeah.
Versus the person that has a degree, a doctorate, and 40 years of medical practice.
And just, I know you and I have talked about this offline, but like that, the cherry picking of like, well, Dr. So-and-so says that people who are vaccinated are going to make other people sick. Just throwing it out there, let's say that there's 100,000 doctors worldwide and 1,000 of them have that opinion. The other 90,000 outweigh the 1,000 cherry picked opinions you found. It doesn't add up. It doesn't hold the same weight.
It's like that 1 out of 5 dentists. I want to know that one dentist.
Yeah. Who's that one guy?
Yeah, that one dentist.
What's he think?
Yeah.
What do they think? He or she? Or they? Who are they?
Episode 14.
Yeah.
This was, we won't say it's a turning point, but test out some new gear, talk about some new beers.
New beer.
And what's hot in the world of streaming television.
Back then, I don't even know what the new shows were.
No, me neither.
But I do know that New Gear was your microphone.
It was.
Which, hey, look at, we got the twins. Shout out. This is by no means I'm not endorsing. I'm not paid to say this.
He's been a solid
No. I wasn't going to mention Marcus. I was just going to say the Shure microphone company. I know that this microphone, the MV7, is widely criticized as being, the little bastard cousin to the SM7B, but for what we need it to do,
I don't think we could run it. The other one.
No, the board wouldn't have enough gain.
So, I mean, this has been ideal for our needs and wants.
As a microphone that is both a XLR plug-in and also a USB microphone, I don't think there are many combos in the same category.
Ideally, when I bought this and I went in and I talked to them and I was like, listen, I'm doing a podcast. And this is when we were still worried that we'd get shut down again and that we'd have to start
doing stuff from home.
And I'm like, I want something that's versatile enough that if I have to take it home and like be doing Zoom or StreamYard sessions with my partners, and then when we get back to normal, I can plug it into the board. He started talking about this, and I'm like, I think that's the one my partner already has.
Yeah, and then you got it in silver because
that's all he carries in silver,
so as not to confuse it with the SM7B.
Right? He's like, I'm never going to carry it in black because I don't want anyone to ever think that it's
a cheaper version of.
Yeah.
And a lot of people do think that it is a cheaper version of the SM7B, and on some level you'd be right. It's definitely based on the look of the SM7B, but God, it's Shure makes a nice product. That's all I'm going to say.
Across the board, they do cool stuff
Yeah.
across everything that they're doing, because they do a lot of other things other than microphones as well.
Yes, they do. Headsets as well.
Yep.
Definitely known in the recording world. I want to talk about that other Marcus from Mars Music. I'll talk about him towards the end of the show, about some new stuff that's going on.
Episode 15. Do you know what the
15 after New Year, New Beer?
Yeah. Do you know what the big deal of episode 15 was?
I don't recall.
Well, it was the first one we tried to do video.
Really? I was just thinking about that too.
Yep. Join host Wes and Scott as they welcome to the show radio personality.
Oh, right.
Miles Gimme. And we talk about hometown stories and men's health and radio phone-ins, all kinds of good stuff. And we did that over Zoom.
Guys, if you were out in the world, and I mean, Zoom is this, like, tons of people are using Zoom and tons of podcasters are using Zoom. We used Zoom on this show one time. I used Zoom on our sister show, Fandom Power, one time before we moved away from it. Not that I'm saying you should move away from it, but we just didn't know enough about it.
It was cool. The only thing I thought that was cool is that when we were talking.
You mean when we were talking that it did this? It just
it did a lot of random. Yeah. And so when I was talking, there was me. And then when Miles started to talk, it went to him. And then when you started to talk.
And then it would come over to me, which I don't even.
You couldn't do it.
I don't know if I can get it to go to me. Why are you doing it? You bugger.
Oh,
I've really messed it up now.
Our poor viewers. Our poor viewers.
I don't know why. Oh, that's why. Here we go.
There you go.
I should be able to.
Now
it's
right.
Now it's me. Hi.
But
there we go.
Yeah, and it was a good episode.
The fact that it did it automatically was a little off-putting, because it's like we're watching the playback and it's like, did you do that? I didn't do that. Did you?
No, we're not touching anything.
Did Andy do that?
Yeah, I think it was intrinsically kind of, it knew who.
Yeah.
Where the feed of the most noise was coming from.
I think had we played around with it longer,
maybe
before we went right to it, it had been a little bit different. But
yeah, we dove in pretty hard on it. And you know what? Another great episode. Probably one of the higher ones that we've had watched, because again, it was the first one with
local
video
personality,
and Miles, that he's got a little bit more of a social media following.
I would think so, as a local radio host who's got a listenership of tens of thousands.
He would tell you no, but
well, come on. You know how people are loyal to their radio.
He's a pretty.
He's charismatic enough. He can carry a conversation.
Yeah, but I would tell you he's so down to earth. He'd never tell you he was that guy. He'd never start a conversation of, oh yeah, I'm Miles from Pure Country.
Yeah,
I don't think ever. He'd be like, oh yeah, man, I'm.
I still have yet to. He still hasn't reached out to come into the shop.
You know what? I'll send him a text and remind him.
He has to.
No, and remind him that you're open now by appointment.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was our first foray into video, and we've never looked back.
It's funny when you go back to those first few episodes on YouTube and you're staring at the red circle, which redcircle.com, that's our host website, who automatically puts up a thumbnail with this like oscillating waveform. And it's really hard to watch for an hour and a half.
Okay, but I always put it in as a background noise, and then and then you just didn't look at the screen.
Oh,
but yours like, oh yeah, it just puts me to sleep. I'm like, why are you staring at it? Because it's on the screen. I'm like, okay. So episode 16.
Yep.
Seltzer Wars. So we invite the girls back. And this you and poor Kim
perm solution.
And you know what? I've drank it again without you. And I don't.
But you drank it by itself with nothing else.
Yeah, and lots of ice. And
so again, right back to, if this is the only thing, or if this is what you'd started with, would you have a different opinion? Yep. If we'd have had it just by itself with nothing else, would we have thought that it tasted like perm solution? I don't know.
You know what else is funny about this episode?
What's that?
So We talk about the seltzer edition, 4 more candidates.
Yeah.
Which one will take the top? And then featuring Gimme That Bottle by Michael Ramey C.
That's our intro music.
Yeah. So you know what that probably means? That the first time it actually hit the description, that was probably shortly after your first copyright strike.
You know what? That's probably true. So there was this is actually a funny story because when we first started up, in those first few episodes, we were really tight about making sure that we were giving everybody, the appropriate credit. So when you're starting up a podcast and you're using royalty-free music, make sure that you understand the ins and outs of the usage and the licensing, whether it can be used commercially or not, and make sure you give credit where credit is due, because
there's a lot of douchebags.
There are a lot of unscrupulous people out there who are and I'm not saying this because we did anything wrong, but there are people out there who are scooping up royalty-free music and they are publishing it as their own, trying to capitalize on somebody else's work. And it's not a nice place to be in. And we've had a couple of copyright strikes because of that, because of some D-bags who have appropriated somebody else's music, which we're still in the process of disputing.
Yeah, it's not a fun process to go through. So, episode 17.
Yep.
Welcome to the show, author of the book, Mia the Beautiful, Kenoto Braithwaite.
Kenoto.
So the book is an incredible, important message. We'll talk about what inspired Kenoto to write it and his travels. We've taken him. So again, this is
high school
acquaintance of Andy's.
Andy,
that he reached out to, was more than happy to join us, was a great guest.
I'm on the mailing list. I get emails at least once a week.
I get just even if you follow him on Facebook, he is active. And he is posting lots.
He's always got that positive message, though, of inclusiveness, though. And if you missed that episode, it's super compelling to go back and watch. And as a Black man living in Japan, it has a whole host of considerations that, living in North America that you wouldn't necessarily consider, where things like where the topic of racism is concerned. And if you think it's an issue here, it's still it's an issue. It's an issue in Japan as well.
He's had, and even some of the stories he's had, like ongoing, at the new apartment, and the fence,
the fence. I read that too.
Yeah, it was good. It was
good of him the way he handled himself, though.
It's funny. The kids are like, "Why are you out there?" And right, tell him who's boss, Dad.
Yeah, he's like, doesn't work that way.
It doesn't work that way. Sometimes you just sit back and just be quiet.
I got to tell you though, like I would have some like serious sphincter tone, and good for him that his language skills are good enough to be that conversational to get that message across. Because I don't know how it would have resolved if it were me. You know what I mean?
I mean, we've started to have our shoplifters back at work.
Oh,
and so
warm clothes are out now.
Yeah,
there you go.
And had one in and really kind of set off my alarm bells, and I hesitated. And
spider sense was tingling.
Yeah, for sure. But I kind of asked for some second opinions, and I called the police, and then an employee comes back, and they're like, "She's gone." And,
okay,
right. Probably got us for like $350 worth of sweatshirts. So later that day, another sketch bag comes in. So same thing. I'm like,
you waiting this time, or are you?
So I just literally, and she just seems a little more disheveled. So ideally, she's not in her good mental place. Where the other lady was very astute, but still kind of whatever
put together.
Yeah, this one was a little more disheveled,
Gotcha.
And I just kind of stood away and watched her put the first sweatshirt into her purse. And it was simple, right? I just went up and
hi.
Yeah, I said, you can take that out of your purse and you can get out. But I wasn't gonna steal it. I'm like, so then there's an arm sticking out, so I just grab it and I pull it out of her purse. And I'm like, get out. And it's right by the front door.
Yeah.
And then she says again, I wasn't gonna steal it. And then I'm like, got dad tone. And I'm like, get out. And like every customer, every employee is like,
it's funny though, you think you could appeal to that sense of like, this can go really badly for you, or you can just quietly leave.
Well, I'm never going to hold them.
No,
I don't have my security license, so I can't hold them. So, right, it's like, just get out. I don't want
You
you.
can do whatever you want.
It's private
but
property.
there's, there are consequences to those
There
decisions.
is. Yeah.
I've seen the security footage.
Yeah.
I've seen some security footage from a nondescript.
Yeah, but and everyone's like, and right, one guy's walking up and he's got a big smile on his face because he knows exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
And another guy and his son is like, "Oh, is that how you treat your customers?" I'm like, "Oh, she wasn't a customer."
Oh wow, they actually tried to defend her,
And I just couldn't understand why someone would raise their voice like that. And I'm like, well, I can't. Right, you can't lay hands. You can't. I don't want to touch them.
No.
And it's like, well, just, the escalation of tone is to me the appropriate thing to push forward. But anyway, episode 18.
18.
And this is getting into cool stuff. This is getting into, we talk about this quite a bit for a little bit, but this is the yard work.
Oh my god, yeah. This is
the beginning of the.
This is like lockdown 2.0 because of the crap that got done.
Right.
So much stuff got done.
So talk about tackling projects in the pandemic, dog poop, gazebos, new business hours, and what the future may hold. And why can't Scotty get a grilled cheese?
You could get a grilled cheese now. The door is repaired. They've repaired the doors in the building.
I was by there the other day. Guess what they were? Not open. I will get a grilled cheese one day, and
you should.
And I may go in and actually tell them to be like, "Hey, I've got a podcast here in town, and we've talked about you a couple times in your hours of
your non-hours of
And I mean, for and as they say, I'm sure they're open enough to deal with the lunch crew. I'm a little early or I'm a little late.
Yeah.
And I'm the first one to tell you that it is my fault.
It's not your fault. I'd say it's your work schedule more than anything else.
Yeah.
It just prohibits you from being there when they're around.
My good friend Wes hasn't delivered a grilled cheese to me yet in Peterborough.
By the time I got it to you, it would be cold.
I told what was
get a microwave.
I have a microwave. I'd heat it.
You know what? Okay, so maybe one day I will do that.
And then we can talk about it on hanging out at the barbershop, and we'll have a good laugh about it. And how good or how bad it was.
You'll get it.
Microwave.
I'll deliver it to you, and it'll spend hours in the lunchroom, and people will be like, "What's that?"
Oh, that's my grilled cheese.
Don't touch it.
I love cold shit, and which is strange for me that I'm picky.
Do you like meat on a sandwich?
Yeah.
So you'll probably like the same one that I like. Then.
Right.
They have a lot of non-meat choices.
Right.
But there's a couple. The one that I like, they call the Great Northern, has peat meal bacon on it. So
sounds good.
That's probably the one I'll get you.
So episode 19. Showing up early for work, and me getting old
a day early.
Mixed drinks, lumber, and more. So that might be the rum and cock episode. If we're talking about mixed drinks, So a little slip of the tongue there, and
that's going on a t-shirt somewhere. If we ever get a merch store going, that's going on there. Rum and a big chicken head. Or rooster head.
It's funny too, because at the dollar it wasn't the dollar store.
Andy, when you're doing this, rum and rooster head.
And came across penis shaped
oh my god, ice cube
tray, and I was like, oh man, I gotta buy that. And just not tell Wes and crack them and just slide the your
why does my drink have a cock and balls in it?
But and we had a good laugh about that. You had a really good laugh.
I couldn't help it. I think I might have cried a little
and
bit.
that was a cool episode because we actually got response. Somebody actually commented, I think back personally to you, not actually on the episode.
Maybe to me.
But somebody was driving and was like,
was that Zach?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, good for Zach. Zach is a good. Zach is the fan that you want to have because he's in the car. So I mean, I said this the other day on our sister show on Fandom Power that for those of you who are maybe just tuning in now, thank you. And I say that because your entertainment choices vary so broadly that it's not lost on me and it's not lost on Scott how appreciative we are that you've chosen us. So again, for Zach and for everybody else out there, thank you for choosing us.
And yeah, I'm glad we can make you laugh from time to time.
Yeah.
And yeah, that you actually think that when we're funny, that we actually are funny. So and I think that's, I've said that all along. I just want a couple giggles and maybe somebody else to laugh. And
man, I said if one person's tuning in, then I'm doing something right.
Right. And you know what? This is a perfect thing. So right, there hasn't been a ton of comments on the YouTube page.
No.
But the feedback and the reach out that we've had through our personal Facebook and Messenger and stuff. So I mean, right, Joni down at the post
office
and wants more Michelle. Real Michelle.
Yes.
Not rein back Michelle. She wants 110% Michelle.
Not telephone voice Michelle.
Yeah. She wants more Michelle. And Matt, who is enjoying it over in Finland. And Zach.
Yes, I think we're actually part of Matt's physical therapy.
Right. Gets out and walk and listens to us.
Yeah.
Zach, who's listening. And the other people that have, listened to something within the family and have commented or thumbs up or shared, it is really appreciated. As I say, we've been doing it for a year, and it's exciting, and I think we're moving in the right direction across the entire banner, and we're growing, and we're getting cooler stuff, and we're getting 22 episodes. I think we're catching our stride.
22 episodes of this show, 2 episodes of our sister show, Off the Path of Normal. 3, 4, 3.
3.5.
3.5 episodes of Scotty Doesn't Know.
And I mean, so ideally, episode 3 comes out, I think, this week.
Yeah.
Episode 4 is already recorded, and I've been reaching out. I probably already got like another 4. Lined up. So I mean, people, and then 51
published episodes of Fandom Power. Yeah.
Well, it's nice when you have content that comes out every week that you can talk about.
I know. Yeah. There's no shortage of that.
A little less forethought has to go in. What are we going to talk about this week, Wes? You'd be like, I know exactly what I'm talking.
What's on TV this week?
So episode 20, road trips.
Road trips is an interesting one because we've taken road trips together before, and I had the bones laid out for a end of summer road trip, which at this point I'm not 100% sure is going to happen with the scaling back of everybody's hours.
It's time. It's hard. It's time. It's effort. It's getting out. As you say, as things kind of slip away, it gets tougher to get there and do what you want to do. And as you say, everybody all of a sudden goes into fall hours and starts to cut back.
Summer staff has gone back to school for those who are going to school, and then business models inherently change with the season. So it's to squeeze in, an episode of Cold Ones on the Road by doing the cidery tour may have to wait for spring, summer 22.
Maybe.
But again, the bare bones is still stuck to the fridge in my kitchen at home. So nice. It's still there. It's in the works, but I just can't guarantee it's going to be in 21.
Whatever.
You know
how we are.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's all good. And episode 21. So Pat
Chalmers in our most recent episode of
Cold Ones came out and had some cervezas.
Pat, our axe throwing friend.
Yep.
Who was also axe throwing, car detailing, man of
and axe polishing.
Yes.
So funny story this week at axe throwing. I guess he had the big axe all polished up.
Yeah.
And then he's like, so he's redoing a used axe.
Sure.
That has definitely seen use and has been used as the maul. So it has been
it's been the hammer.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then he's like, oh, it's sort of rounded. He says
on the backside.
Yeah. So he
tried to square it up.
Yeah, and put a huge scratch through the polish. So he's like,
gotta clean that up.
Yeah, back to scratch, kind of starting at the grinder, sandpaper. I think he's got it back down to polishing compound now.
Oof.
But he's like, So,
well, I certainly know where to go when I need some polishing tips, because I've got some plastic pieces that I want to work on.
well, even I got to get that. I got that saw blade at that yard sale, and it's still in the back of my truck, and I got to get it out. I should let Pat polish it and then let Andy etch it.
Yeah, because you want to make sure that it's yeah. I don't even know how that's going to work. It's probably going to take a lot of masking to set that up.
And maybe it's not even doable. I'd be even cool with it in like to paint it.
Yep.
And paint it black and
powder coat it, and
put
then
the
blast through the powder coating or something. Yeah.
But
that could be cool.
It was a cool little saw blade that looked a lot like the Sawcast production.
It does,
logo.
Yeah, it really does.
And I'd love to have that, hanging on the wall or behind or wherever. Right. It's but yeah. As I say, this is really it's permeated our lives.
I've said this a few times.
Talk about it.
I've said it on the air, and I've said it in depth, to my wife and to our friends, and I've said, and as far as hobbies go, because I still think of it as very much a hobby thing, outside of my love for action figure and toy collecting, I've never been more serious about a hobby before. And I just love what we're doing. I love what I'm doing. I love what we're doing together as a show, and what we're doing collectively as a family of shows. And I hope that 2022 continues to show the growth that we've had in 2020.
Bust out year.
Yeah, really. Wouldn't that be nice?
I think it's such a big nut to crack. But you know what? If we keep going, because again, if you look at where we've seen downloads and episodes watched, it has been on a steady climb with only a few dips back. I don't think we've really started from square one at all. So, I mean, right, you keep seeing, it takes less and less to get another 500 episodes watched.
Sure.
So, right, so we were like, oh, we hit 500. Oh, man, we've already hit 1,000. Oh, my gosh, we're at 1,600. And then, right, the 2,000.
The last time that we looked at the metrics, I think we were sitting at 2,400 across all shows.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, right, it wasn't that long ago that we posted the 2,000.
Yeah. It was very quick.
So it's like, great. And I mean, right, the more content we put out, and it allows different people.
Who I was watching this week, but a YouTuber that I was watching had said something about 5 years. In 5 years to get to 30,000. So I'm like, you know what? Our first year in, and I think YouTube wise, I think our subscribers, I think we're up to what, 15 on Sawcast.
I think people just don't get it.
I think there's also, and this is something I've said. I had this conversation with Andy, and I wonder if maybe there's something to when you have 4 shows, but they're all under a single channel. Does that hurt the individual show? It helps the family of shows, but does it hurt the individual show? Because it's buried in with a bunch of other things.
But if you search on YouTube, hang out at the barbershop,
it comes up.
You get hang out at the barbershop.
Yeah,
if you search Sawcast, you get Sawcast.
That's right.
And that shows everything.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, there's big companies that are doing it the way we're doing it and are successful. Yeah. So right, you like Barstool Entertainment, which is probably the biggest one out there right now.
Yeah.
And you go and it shows all their shows.
Oh, okay.
So that if you're like, oh, I like the way they produce content.
Yep.
And then you just look through their content for something that catches your eye.
I get it. Yeah.
And then go from there. So, but again, you can find all those shows individually,
right,
as well. But I think it's this mindset of a lot of people will not sign into YouTube or don't have YouTube.
Don't have account.
Accounts, no, so they can't subscribe. And you hit that subscribe button, and then it says, "Oh, you have to log in." And you're like, "Oh, I forgot my password. I forgot this."
Yeah,
but you know what too, and with the whole every time we roll out another podcast, and it's that initial setup, and we set it out and we send out the invites, just, hey, this is what I'm doing, if you'd like to follow and like it. I mean, I'm still getting people coming back and liking Scotty Doesn't Know. Like,
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people aren't on Facebook or aren't looking at those invites because they're inundated by those. But
I don't know.
yeah, so I mean, the people that are taking the time to look at what we're producing,
Yep.
Liking, following, sharing, all that stuff, and then real fresh people outside of that friend group that just had this happen. I was reaching out to somebody else that I really want to have on. Scotty doesn't know, and their dad followed me, and their dad's
cool.
like, he has published music and a published book.
Oh, cool.
So he is a super interesting guy as well. And he didn't have to follow, but somewhere where, he must value what his daughter.
Every time I see a name, like I get the notification.
You go and look and see who it is.
I do. And then I ask me, I go to Andy, is that one of yours?
Yeah.
He'd be like, no, it's not one of mine.
Yeah.
It's not one of mine. So maybe it's one of Scott's.
Yeah. Right. And I'm excited by that. And I'm like, so, I mean, there's,
as you rightly should be.
And the number of people that you're like, that's nobody.
These are people that we don't know.
Yeah, these don't belong to anybody. So those are super cool people.
I've picked up a couple of fandoms, picked up a few from the toy groups. Right. Because it's adjunctive to sort of that space.
Yep.
I don't know if we've picked up anybody here because of that.
Yeah. It's funny too, because we keep discussing podcasts and that it's inundated our lives. So we're at a 1-year anniversary. Very good friends with the lady. I know her husband. I like her husband, but their friends aren't our friends.
Right.
So we go to a barbecue, get there late because I worked.
Oh, this was recently?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
And not really enjoying myself because they're right. Ideally, I'm there to talk to them.
Yeah. Time to go home.
And I'm ready to go home at 9. And I think we got there at 8.
I could go to bed now.
And then, people start leaving. And then, I get talking to people I'm interested in talking to. And then we get talking about the podcast.
Yeah.
And then, he starts talking about stuff. I start talking about stuff. And then the one girl that's left works here in town. And we get talking about stuff. And I was there till midnight. So went from I'm ready to go home at 9 to talking about it. So, obviously very passionate about it.
Right.
But you know what she said? She says, you guys should absolutely be reaching out on the Bob Cajun, which I mentioned before. And we're like,
we've talked about the two community groups or the two big community Facebook groups. And one of them is I don't,
complaining.
That's a third one.
Okay.
Which I want nothing to do with.
No.
For obvious reasons, which I'm not going to get into here because it's a little more than I want to talk about. But one of them is more light and fluffy and airy, and it's all the nature photos, and it's all that all the time. If you put anything even remotely business related, it's either
not posted.
You're either told take it somewhere else, or it doesn't get up.
Right.
The other one
is sort of
is openly advertised as a place to promote business.
Well, there you go. Maybe we should just put something up one day. Just see what happens.
Yeah. Just to say that we're locally based and
right.
I don't know if I want to be the one to pull the trigger on that.
Tell Andy to do it.
Yeah, really. Yeah. I mean, we're all in those groups and we all see who are in them. So I mean, is that a window you want to open?
I mean, I just started following the one. Yeah. Because I was interested in what they do. I don't follow that stuff. I'm not involved.
Fair enough. Okay.
But I'm happy to be disconnected where I live, right?
Yeah.
I don't.
So I've taken to, I belong to some groups that you wouldn't have access to just because of my professional background, but I'm in a couple of veteran groups and I've taken to posting our shows in some of the veteran groups I'm in. I'm in a veteran podcasting group, which has about 40 some people in it. I don't know if any of those people are coming along because our show is widely different. It doesn't talk about veteran stuff at all, but as a veteran, I feel like, you know what?
I'm doing the same thing you're doing. I'm just taking a different road. So, hey, this is what I do.
And then, with the other stuff, with the other show, I if it's a Star Wars thing, I put it in Star Wars groups. And sometimes, you get the odd, other times you don't. But
maybe we should throw a link up on Bert's fan page.
Really.
And be like, hey, we do stuff like Bert.
Yeah. So at this point, this is where I throw the shameless plug.
Yes.
Where, we are available. So Hanging at the Barbershop and all of the family of Sawcast production shows are available wherever podcasts are. So if you like our show, and you like what we're doing, we ask that you, one, click your bell, click your notification so you can keep up to date on all of our new episodes. We'd ask that you like us on all of our social media platforms, and do be active on those platforms with us to help guide and direct the show in the way that you'd like to see it go. You got something funny that happened to you that you think would be a great anecdote for the show, send it to us. We'd be happy to give you a shout out and name drop you on the show in a future episode.
Well, speaking of that we're going to talk about that in a future episode. The Tim Hortons thing,
exactly. So
and that actually got traction.
It did, yeah.
That had like 6 or 7 comments.
People actually commented on that one because it's all happened to us. That's why.
That's right, and we're at polar opposites of that thought process. So that'll be interesting when we sit down to talk about it.
Yeah. So, what do you want to talk about? Kind
Now?
of the way forward.
Way forward, yeah. So yeah, you've got some cool stuff, and if you want to.
So the reality is, we are not at a point where the production side of things is not self-sufficient yet. We are absorbing 100% of the cost of that, and so the reality is that the building that we are currently housed in is up for sale, and that puts the future of the production side in a bit of a like, we're not sure how that's going. So in order to, at the bare minimum, to sustain our own shows, each of us in turn is kind of working on our own sort of home spaces so that we can at least continue to produce content without having to be here. So to that end, I made a little purchase.
You pulled the trigger.
I did. It took me a while to come to grips with it. I've been we've wanted the ability to be portable and to be able to do stuff off site. And it's a little more difficult with this setup because it works as an interface, it requires a computer, and that has a whole host of other issues, like laptop battery life and internet connection and all that other stuff. However, there are some products out there on the market that are these all-in-one interface / recorders. And the big one on the market right now is the Rodecaster Pro, which has been on the market for like a couple of years now. And then Zoom, not to be confused with Zoom, the chat service, but Zoom, the audio company. They made a competitor for it, which was a little bit cheaper. And now the audio company, the professional audio company Tascam, is getting into the mix with their new product, the Tascam, the Mixcast 4, which is, let me give you a little shot of that. There it is. There's the Tascam Mixcast 4. It's essentially another competitor for the Rodecaster Pro, but it's an all-in-one podcasting studio / workstation for recording, editing, and
looks sexy.
Yeah, it'll definitely up our game, certainly going forward. And happy to say that I've purchased that locally. Let me just stop this here for a second. Purchased that locally from our good friends over at Mars Music in Peterborough. So
it's funny too, right? Because they're on the initial pull the trigger on buying stuff. We went there, we talked to them, and just didn't work out on time frame and costing the initial buy-in.
If we could have, I think we would have.
Yeah, and now you look at it. I bought my mic from them. Now you're getting a board. We bought our cables from there.
Yeah,
but it's funny as we get deeper into this, the ability to go back to them, and they're so gracious with their time and knowledge.
I mean,
they are.
Marcus, pardon the analogy, but Marcus is a literal rock star when it comes to his expertise and sort of, I don't want to say holding your hand, but in this case, really holding my hand and sort of guiding me through the decision-making process. And I did not feel swayed one way or the other. I felt like I was driving the conversation and he was reacting to what I was saying. And I 150% recommend that you visit Mars Music if you're looking for a new piece of gear. Marcus will not steer you in the wrong way, and probably give you a pretty decent price on it too. So big shout out to them for being helpful to us over the past year. We've certainly enjoyed that informal relationship that we've had with them.
For sure. So there you go. Good episode about nothing.
I know.
And you were worried about that.
I do, but that's me, man.
And look,
that's
I steered you in the right direction. Talked about 21 episodes.
Yeah.
Recorded 22.
Yeah.
And right, we had some anecdotes and we had some laughs. And
just on that note, just think now going forward, every episode after this, season 2.
I guess.
Yeah. So are we calling this season 1 episode 22, or is this season 2 episode 1?
I have no idea.
I'll wrapping up a year.
Ideally, this is not this hasn't actually, because right by the date,
it doesn't coincide with the calendar
year. It does not
no.
Doesn't go with it just was our anniversary on the first hang out at the barbershop post on Facebook.
Yeah.
Because it came up and it was like
October 20th was the first publishing date.
Yes.
So I mean, we're literally
anything after that is season 2, and anything before this was just our.
You know what Andy said to me the other day? He's like, you know what? It's October. All the the two signature shows both kind of went up in October. So I mean, you've got that entire month. It's anniversary celebrations,
right,
if we want it to be.
There you go.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy with it. Whether they start calling them season 2, which I guess that's
up to us.
Yeah, but again, that's sort of it's a point. It is. It's like, oh man, you're like, and then does that? And it doesn't matter. I was going to say, does that mean every
somebody coming to the show right now who's just new to the show?
Yeah.
The timing is irrelevant to them. Really.
No, they just roll back.
Yeah.
I tell you, the popular podcasts I listen to, I haven't gone back and listened to one. I listen sometimes, right, the way I've got the podcast, it'll start rolling back episodes. But I mean, and then a new one comes out and then I'm at the start again. So it's like, and then it's only getting better. So I mean, right, you're enjoying what we're doing now. Sometimes and you go back and you try to listen to an inaugural episode of anyone's podcast.
It's a little harder to listen to.
Yeah. And you're like, oh my gosh, if I had started on episode 1, I might not have gotten through 5 episodes.
Right.
It's good that I got on episode 101.
Yeah.
And he'd figured out what the hell he was doing.
And I watched a video today from a YouTuber who's from the UK who owns a guitar company, and he talked about buying into YouTube early on in his musical career. And the title of his video was 15 years of YouTube. Was it worth it? And he just talks about 15 years of YouTube and what it's allowed him to do.
Right.
Over 7,000 videos in 15 years. Ugh. If you were new to a show, are you going back to video number 1?
I think you search by topic.
I think so.
And then find it that way.
Yeah.
But
think we'll get to 7,000?
I don't know.
Of course we will.
Fandom might.
Fandom is at a breakneck pace, man. 52 weeks in the year, and we've got 50. This past Saturday would be episode number 52.
And it's broke up, and it's funny because when you look at the channel, it's broke up in all kinds of different ways. Like, right, there's the Mandalorian stuff, which I think is still the most, because I think so. Yeah, it's had the most episodes in 2 seasons.
Yep.
And then Star Wars stuff, and then the review stuff. But each review thing is sort of in its own little subsection. So the Bad Batch would probably be the next biggest.
The next one. It was a full season. Yeah.
So
we did sorry, not that I want to do a big pitch for the other show, but I may have gotten us into something with our friends from the States over at Reflex.
I see that. I read your.
Did you read the whole conversation?
I sure did.
Good. So does that not look like an interesting?
Yeah.
So there's
like a radio drama.
Yeah, big plans in the works to do a major collaboration with another show who we're super excited to work with again. And we're looking at a future radio style drama. And I hope that I really, really hope that we can get some traction
when you
on
do that.
Yeah.
Do we both get to share it?
I think so. I gotta talk to the guys down there about that. But I had this thought today where I thought, if we do it like an audio book and we do it by chapter, I was hoping that they would be agreeable to a chapter on their show, a chapter on our show,
right?
And that way we get the reciprocal of getting some.
So
some
if
of
you
the
want part
audience
2,
crossover.
those people got to come.
They got to come over and listen to it,
and
on
then
us.
our people have to go back.
Yeah, listen to their show.
That's smart.
Well, I would like to think so.
Yeah.
They are a bigger show than we are.
Yeah.
Not that that matters. I mean, they're just super nice guys
Yep.
that we've worked with before, that we want to work with again. And they seem very agreeable to that. And I'm hoping that once we get through the logistical side of it, which is like, I'm sure there's going to be scripting that has to be done. And there's no way five of us, their 2 hosts, the 3 of us, Hank, Andy, and I, can fill all of the voice roles for
Right.
all the characters that are going to be in that. So who knows? You may be sequestered to do some acting.
I'd love to.
Yeah,
I can at least get 2 different voices.
sober and drunk, sober and not.
Yeah, I was gonna go Husky Scott and not Husky Scott.
Oh, okay.
That's about my my depth of my voice acting.
Well, don't let me take that away from you.
Yeah. But
All
all right.
well,
Anyway,
another one in the books.
you know what? Let's keep doing it.
Yeah.
We'll keep puttering along. You know what? I've truly enjoyed this, and yeah, I'm Scott.
Yeah, and for Hanging at the Barbershop, I'm Wes, and we'll catch you on the next one, guys.
Later.
Bye for now. Hey, thanks for hanging with us at the Barbershop. You can find us on all your favorite podcasting platforms. Please like and share us on Facebook, and follow us on Instagram and Twitter to stay up to date on all of our shenanigans. Hanging at the Barbershop is a Sawcast production.